So let's start talking about those global trends. So the first bucket called natural goodness, I have selected the trend called wild taste. So natural goodness is obviously all about looking into what nature can provide when it comes in terms of goodness, when it comes to ingredients, thinking local, thinking natural, thinking of course natural ingredients. And wild taste is all about looking and identifying interesting, new ingredients, new flavors that are outside of obviously mainstream, but it could be look into different profiles that can really bring something unique and different and outside of the main flavors. So obviously we have seen a lot like around blossom and floral explosion, which is one of the big trends for 2018 and is going to go and to continue for the years to come. So if you can play the video number 2 on this one. Thank you.
Flowers, not only beautiful, but exploding with possibility.
Wait, what now?
You heard me. According to the trend experts at Symrise, the floral food trend is in full bloom.
Come on, tell me more.
Symrise, after hundreds of extensive interviews and amazing meals with the culinary stars, mixologists, and pastry chefs at Star Chefs, they found that the next big thing is botanicals. From marigold-infused dishes of Chef Murad Lalou to carrots, foie gras, and hibiscus, and goat cheese ice cream with nasturtium flowers. 2-star Michelin chef Jamie Young makes his own marigold syrup.
Almost too beautiful to eat.
But not to drink. These cocktails feature a subtle splash of orange blossom water that keeps them cutting edge.
So Symrise says that florals are now going beyond lavender and rose?
Yes. In fact, any flavor-forward company looking to create the next product that will tap into popular food culture better start thinking floral.
Now that's flower power.
Symrise, your partner in flavor.
Okay, so when we did the survey with the chefs and the pastry chef and the mixologists, here are in fact the 4 blossom that they are using the most, in their recipes. So it's interesting. 2 of them, obviously, we already leverage it in retail product or in food service, but there's 2 interesting new ones that in fact move from really being the decor on the plates to be really part of the ingredients, either on a dish or on in a drink. And here are so hibiscus and orange blossom. They are obviously not new to you guys, but they are really ramping up. And we see a lot of things leveraging those 2 blossom on the market. But the 2 others that are the nasturtium and the other one, the marigold, is really blooming in a lot of interesting crafted products in places that Williamsburg with Smorgasburg during the summer and the spring, or on other places. When I was at South by Southwest and there was a lot of coffee, craft small coffee companies, and there was a lot of products with those blossoms. So something to keep an eye on. Thinking about healthy lifestyle. So this is really looking at the movement of health and wellness and how it's impacting our life and changing, the way how we look at food, and beverages. So here I'm going to focus on one, called performance enhancement. Nothing to do with the blue color, of the slide. That's the name for my European colleagues. But which is interesting, it is really about this idea of functional and functionality, and I think that we heard a lot about it this morning. What we wanted to look at it is a different approach to superfood and what we see in terms of ingredients that are leveraged by mixology and by chefs when it comes to functional ingredients. So if you can play the video number 3.
Let's talk farro, moringa, schizandra, and bee pollen.
The next group of health-boosting superfoods that'll be the future of contemporary American food.
Symrise went on a journey of discovery with hundreds of rising culinary artists and mixologists at Star Chefs to find out why these foods, above all others, will be on everyone's lips. The ancient grain farro is finding a very modern use in the kitchens of Star Chefs across the nation.
Britt Castro sets Austin, Texas abuzz with her bee pollen-inspired menu items.
And move over blueberry, Shazandra Berry is taking your superfood title, according to Jason Bond of Bondier.
Don't forget moringa, rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and nutrients. Tap into the superfood trend and supercharge your next launch with the thought leadership of Symrise.
Your partner in flavor, Symrise.
I think you will know it by the end that we are your partner in flavors. I'm sure realizing that this is repeating quite a bit. Okay, so what we have seen in the in the research with those chefs. So here are those, in fact, 4 important ingredients. And when you look at it, this is not only one chef. You have seen in the movies some chefs that are quoted, and you see their names. It's because we had a good relationship with them. We have done tasting, with them and so on. But it's not only one person saying the ingredients. It's really a lot of those chefs and those mixologists doing those ingredients across, the nation. So you see moringa. You see bee pollen or honey as well. A lot of different interesting products from oats, farro, as well as cracked rye, and the Schisandra berry, which is very interesting. So again, Schisandra have been a lot featured in crafted, drinks across the country. I was not too long ago in Hawaii. I was lucky, there, and I went to a local juice manufacturers, and when I entered the store, there was a whole new line of product that they freshly prepared, and it was containing the Schisandra berry. That was the first time that I've seen it into, a product beside, seeing it with mixologists and cocktail recipes, at bars. Premium indulgence. So premium indulgence, really, this is all about this idea that crafted or artisan, the craft movement is becoming really mainstream, and people are really looking at high quality ingredients and really new ingredients and new products into what they can select on the market. So we went with this trend here to show you today, and that's really the idea that there is now, when you talk to mixologists, a very high level of collaboration between the mixologist and the chef at the kitchen. This is really new. Usually mixologists have been almost segregated, and they were put on the side, in the front of the house, and there were not too many connection with the chefs. But with the whole idea of sustainability and leveraging, waste and product, the maximum in the restaurant, you have seen now a lot of mixologists pairing and working with the chefs in order to make sure they can, use a lot of different ingredients. So we have seen an evolution in terms of the cocktails with cocktails that we call has a depth, and you can see it from the recipe, different execution, of it. So we see when we have been touring around the country and did a lot of evaluation in the South especially, preparing our new promotion for next year, which is called Southern Revival. We have seen a lot of bar menu that were including a lot of lighter cocktail with a low ABV and with a lot of sparkling concepts. So either topped with club soda or Proseccos or champagne, and this is a big trend that we have seen, on the market. The second one is about the egg white. Obviously, this is not new, but it has been really now mainstream, or it could be egg white, or we have seen now the mixologists very much interested in aquafaba, because they like the profile of the aquafaba better than the egg white, especially the not having the off notes, from the egg white. When you smell the drink and you put the glass, towards your mouth. The other important platform is having the trend of spicy and hot. That was obviously very famous with hot sauce, but now really crossing the border and going into cocktail recipes. And the last one, it is leveraging product that I would say looking under the earth and having product like beets or other ingredients such as peanuts and in the cocktail. The last trend at a global level that we call emotional discoveries. It's really the idea of, especially with the new generation of millennials and Gen Z, looking for new flavors, new experiences, and really something that they can anchor, let's say, new emotional, connection and build new emotional connections. So a lot of those are obviously connected to different culture impacting, mainstream America. And we looked at, from the research with the chef and the mixologist and pastry chef, what are like the upcoming new trends when it comes to ethnic influence. So here, are 4 of them. The first one is Africa. So there's going to be, of course, we all know about the trend that happened, several years back with Morocco, and there was a lot of influence, especially on the culinary scene, but it's going to be beyond this, and there's a lot of other countries from Africa that are going to influence, mainstream America. The second one is Russia. If you look at the map of the restaurant in the US, there's not a lot of Russian restaurant. People have this mindset that when you talk to them, they say, well, it's meat and potato. No, that's much more behind, those 2 ingredients. And if you have the chance to go to Portland, I would advise go to Kashka, which is probably one of the best Russian restaurant, on the country at the moment. Portuguese is the other culinary influence that we see coming. And the last one is more specific than Middle Eastern. This is really the Syrian, cuisine that we see coming mainstream in the US. So that was the idea of looking at the trend, I would say, from a Symrise perspective, North America behind the desk. But for us, which is much more important, is to look at the market, go and organize trek. So it's not a boondoggle. This is not we are taking our team, and spending the money and eating and drinking. It's really based on the platform that could be the innovation platform of our customers or something that we see from our research. And we take the team, or sometime as well with our customers, to look at specific areas where we see that trend. And as well, we look at beyond, let's say, the food and beverage. We look at parallel world that have facing the same challenge, and we are looking how they are answering or finding a solution for a similar challenge, but outside of the food area. So here is some, 3 that we are working on at the moment. Obviously, plant protein. Here are some example, from Brooklyn. That we went recently on an excursion and immersion trek. Then there's this whole idea of healthy and health and wellness, but it has to be tasty. We know with the aging, of the population, that the topic of, health is very important. So we went into, again, a trek in Portland and in Brooklyn, looking at how people are, especially like store like the one that you see here, it's Dr. Smooth, in New York and in Brooklyn. And it's just very interesting the way how they promote the food and especially the functional benefits, where you can look at a certain emotion or a certain benefit and you can select, because there's color coding, the type of food that you want to select. And then the last one is obviously very important with CBD and THC going into mainstream soon. That we do our own research. So here is the gentleman is in fact a cannabis sommelier. His name is Philip Wolf, and he is the owner of a company that he created in 2014 called Cultivating Spirits. And which is interesting is doing food pairing with different strain of cannabis. So depending of the terpene content, that could have different flavor, profile. Then there is association between those terpenes, and some of the food could be fish, or it could be meat, or it could be different elements. So that's something very, very important part of our strategy. So when we take those tracks and we combine it with observation and secondary data, what we do is we really try to understand the innovation or the platform that our customers ourselves want to focus on. And we are making a lot of observation from the market, and we are turning this into mind map. So obviously you cannot read it, but the mission of the people being on the track is to collect as much as possible, a lot of observation, and we turn this into those mind map that is going to be our springboard for new idea generation. So we are turning this into those insights, into new ideas. So you see here a mind map. You see people, working here on creating new concepts. And we have the possibility to take those concepts with certain platform, a certain tool that we have, into consumer rapid concept testing. And in order to see, what could be approved, or at least it help us to narrow down the outcome, of the brainstorming between, the research result and as well the observation from the market. So we have two of those concepts. One is called immersion, and the other one is called Eureka. And we have offering those services, to our customers, where we could go on the track and, collect the information and really share, the report and so on, or we can take the same team, into a workshop, innovation workshop, where we end up having a new generation of new ideas and new concepts that we can screen with, with the consumer, and especially the target consumers that our customers are after. So all those insights that are not reserved, for a customer project, we are sharing them on our platform on North America. It's called in-site.symrise.com. And they are, in fact, posts every day. We have about 13 posts per week. And it's all around food and beverage and, and sweet applications, so culinary and sweet. And this is really some observation and some research. It could be some interview with chefs and interview with mixologists. So it's really a ton of insights that you can have access to if you go to, in-site.symrise.com. So I was mentioning in my introduction, so the idea is that when we are looking at developing new products, we can help and support our clients with the innovation phase that can come from the trends to the observation on the markets, and we can take them into an ideation and a co-ideation workshop. You just have seen that. Now, the other aspect, which is very important, is how do you help small companies to take their concept, from the bench to the bottle, and how you help them formulate. You give them access to a lab, and as well, they have the possibility to learn how to scale up. So that's the concept of Cali Formulations from Symrise. This is based in California, in Laguna Beach, and this is really focused, on this concept, which is the Symrise incubator for startup companies in the beverage area. So if you want to play the last clip, thank you.
4 people who share one thing in common. They think about what you drink. Each has a vision.
It's about guilt-free rehydration.
It's about my grandmother's special blend.
It's about the intersection of coffee and innovation.
It's about branding and knowing what the influencers want.
Each has a story.
The beverage space is ripe for disruption, and disruption is where the opportunity is.
I'm as passionate about being an entrepreneur as I am about my exercise regimen. I am obsessed with hydration.
I own 16 successful coffee bars, source my own beans in Guatemala. and I'm looking to make the next big thing in the coffee space.
Tea is a part of me and my heritage. It's time the world knew about its history and health benefits.
So how do they take their ideas?
Cold brew meets fair trade, meets a next level delivery system.
Alkalized water to increase oxygen flow in the blood.
The target market is into barrel aging.
Minimal processing to the tea leaves.
So many ideas.
Elevated experience.
And pick the right ones, then bring them to market.
Yeah?
How?
Introducing Califormulations by Symrise.
What's that?
It's like beverage development paradise. The Califormulations Incubator is where people with a big idea meet the people who can get it market ready. Anything the next beverage success story might need, Califormulations provides.
What about rapid prototyping?
A lot of flavors and formulations to choose from would be nice.
And regulatory support, help with the legal stuff?
I'm all about legalization, if you know what I mean.
We got you covered. And it even has,
Labeling?
And nutrition expertise?
Ingredient sourcing assistance?
Beverage labs.
of course, it's your best opportunity to take your beverage from bench to bottle to
The bank.
I like how this guy thinks.
Okay, so if you want to learn more about our incubator, Califormulations, we are going to be at the live tabletop. I think it's at 3:30. So please come to engage with us, and we can share with you all the good stuff that we can provide you with. Thank you.